I was reading the paper, and there was an article about a young boy who'd stabbed a young girl to death. And then a couple of months later, I was watching the news, and there was a piece on there about a young boy who'd stabbed a young girl to death. And these were at opposite ends of the country. And if I'm honest with you, do you know what I mean? It hurt my heart. Being a father myself, I was like, I just thought, what's happening with our young men today in society, that this is becoming a regular occurrence.
Every parent's going to watch this show. When they finish watching this show, they're going to burst into their kids' room and be asking them, what's going on?
And give them a hug.
You? Yeah, and give them a hug.
Are you all right? Is it a call to action, do you think?
We'd like to think so, wouldn't we, in certain
ways? It's just the heart. I've never seen like energy around a show like this. Like we've done many shows before, and there's the energy around it, I think, is solely because the heart of the piece. You know, we're talking about our youth, we're talking about our society, we're talking about our future.
I know some people who watched the first 20 minutes of the first ep and said, this is too much for me, which is understandable, isn't it? They're going to, hopefully they'll go back and revisit it, but it's so important to push through.
Yeah, it really is. Hannah said something the other day. She said, you know, she hopes that it will be shown in schools as well. Do you know what I mean? That's something that we really hope.
So you got to stick with it. You got to get through it, because it is absolutely fantastic telly. We've got some big movies out, but also available as of yesterday is, as described by The Guardian, the closest thing to TV perfection in decades. Vassos, over to you.
He's an award-winning actor, and he's an award-winning actor, and together they star in the new 4-part drama Adolescence, just out on Netflix and being hailed as the best, most socially urgent show of the year. So please welcome Super Stephen Graham and awesome Ashley Walters.
All right, gentlemen, let's hear it for these guys.
Thank you.
So, before we get into Adolescence, you've just been TalkSported. How was it on TalkSport?
It was amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah, Alan was live just about from Cheltenham.
Alan was alive just about.
Well, he's made every show this week. He doesn't usually do that. So, will you be going to Wembley on Sunday?
I'm not going to be going on Sunday. I'm going to go home. I want to see the family.
Right, now, how come you're going home? How come you've been so busy all week, Steve?
Well, we've been promoting this, haven't we? Actually, we've been promoting the show.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's why we're here with you.
Some kind of show. What's the reaction been like? What's the response been like?
It's been
great.
It's been great. It's been phenomenal. Yeah, I think it's really it's you know, sometimes it's just,
we're trying to be humble.
I know you are. By the way, you're not very good at it. Let me just tell you that. Because you still have to speak.
Yeah, but it's.
I know why.
It's weird, isn't it?
No,
you know what I mean?
I know
it's
why.
like what we do is unreal, but in this respect, it's kind of like you don't do it for applause or accolade or anything like that.
I know.
You do it because it's in your heart and soul.
Yeah, and you're feeling uncomfortable, I would imagine, because people are saying this is a work of genius. They're saying it. It's 5-star reviews across the board. And as I say, if I could jump on board with one reviewer, it'd be The Guardian, the closest thing to TV perfection in decades. Why don't we frame the show? It's available on Netflix now. It's 4 parts. It perfectly fits the format of an episodic 4-part television series. Yeah. What it achieves, I don't think you could achieve so well in film. What do I know? You know,
loads.
It's the 4 1 hours that do it for me. The episodic nature of it, the fact that you get, you know, one window, 1/4 of this story, or 1/4 of one perspective of 100% on this story, and then the next episode is sort of completely different, even though it's hung around the same tree, if you like. Why don't we frame the story, the narrative, via both your characters? Stephen, you go first. Your character and his part in this scenario.
I play Eddie, who's the son of Jamie, and it's basically a Wednesday morning. I've just had my breakfast, you know what I mean? I'm going upstairs to get ready for work, and then the next minute, bang, the police come crashing through the door. And
it's 6:30 in the morning.
6:30 in the morning, yeah. But he's been on a night shift, actually. He's just come home, hasn't he? He's not been home long. And then you kind of follow the story. What we wanted to do was, with that one shot kind of technique that we use, you come through the door with the police, which is Ashley, and you kind of follow the story, and the story unfolds, and you kind of, the audience, find it out what's happening at the same time as the parents. Yeah. Because it's shot in one continuous shot. Yeah. So the whole hour is 1 hour of time that you're actually watching.
And that's what leaves you breathless as a viewer. It leaves you breathless because there are no cuts. So you're on board the whole time, and you sort of pick up the rhythm of the breathing of the characters. And in all that is the angst and the anxiety anxiety and the apprehension. And the whole show starts actually because I had no idea what it was about, because that's how I like to go into these things.
Nice one.
And the whole story starts with Ashley, you and your character in a police car, and you're taking a phone call or a text from your son. So just frame that for us, if you don't.
Just taking a phone call from my son who's been trying to get off school, as teenagers do. And I think it's a really beautiful moment, because it kind of shows the humanity,
the normalcy,
the normal kind of life of this policeman who's about to go and do something really major. And like you said, you don't know what's about to happen. You've got no clue. And literally he bursts through the door and he's about to arrest this little kid, And I think for Bascom, it's like, you're going after a criminal, right? And that's what it is in the beginning. You're going to arrest someone and bring someone to justice, right? But you get through the door and you see this little kid, and it changes everything, because I just think it's so surreal and so like crazy that this is happening with such young people in our society, and we kind of follow the journey of him arresting this kid and following through the case. But I think it's more important for him because he's a dad, and his kid goes to the same school as this kid as well. So it's so close to home, and it's so important for him to understand why. More than anything else.
That's the thing with Bascom. We wanted Bascom to represent the audience and to find out, and he becomes slightly obsessed in a way, do you know what I mean? But it's, why has this kid done this? And if I'm honest with you, Chris, the idea came, I was reading the paper, and there was an article about a young boy who'd stabbed a young girl to death. And then a couple of months later, I was watching the news, and there was a piece on there about a young boy who'd stabbed a young girl to death. And these were at opposite ends of the country. And if I'm honest with you, do you know what I mean? It hurt my heart. Being a father myself, I was like, I just thought, what's happening with our young men today in society, that this is becoming a regular occurrence. And then it was that kind of really wanted to look at it. You know that beautiful saying, it takes a village to raise a child?
Yes.
Well, it's that kind of what we thought we'd look at is maybe we're all accountable to some extent. Do you know what I mean? Parenting, we can look at the way we parent. The school, the education system, we can look at the way they influence young people today, and giving them the education and the knowledge of how to behave and how to conduct yourself. Then you've got the government, who are responsible to an extent, you know what I mean? And society and the community as a whole. And on top of that, when we were kids, when we were in our room, there wasn't much we could do, really. Draw a picture, read a book, maybe play Subbuteo.
We could wait to get out, to be honest.
Yeah, of course. But today, when they're in their room, with with social media, with the internet, you don't know.
Yeah, they're going into loads of different worlds, via the internet,
of course.
And we're trying to say, I guess we're not trying to say, but you see in this show that human connection is being lost. There's every parent's going to watch this show. When they finish watching this show, they're going to burst into their kids' room and be asking them what's going on.
And give them a hug.
And give them a hug.
Are you all right?
And that's all we were trying to do. We're not pointing the finger at anyone. We're saying, can we just have a look at this as a society?
That's what's really clever and really kind about it.
Yeah.
You're not pointing the finger at anyone. No. It's just a permanent 360 collective human dilemma. Yeah. And it's the two worlds of social media and post-social media, and everybody's characters at some point, there's this exhale, isn't there? I mean, your character does it all the time, actually. He's like, because he has to gather himself and walk down the corridor in the police station. But everybody's brilliant in it. The desk sergeant, when he's checking the little boy in. That's just that is so amazing.
Real and authentic, isn't it?
Gosh,
I think the style of filming forces you to be so engaged. For the audience, it forces you to stay in it. You can't turn away from it, right? But for us as actors, going through the journey in real time, because usually you film out a sequence. We'll film the last scene first and the middle scene last, and it's all jumbled up. But for us, kind of, we're all fully in it and fully engaged the whole time, and it's like it's a real ensemble piece.
Completely.
Everyone gets a chance to hold the ball at some point, whether it's one line, whether it's a word, whether it's 10 lines.
You set off together on the same journey.
So the little boy's 13. Episode 1 is what it is, and then episode 2, it's about about the school, isn't it?
Yeah.
And your character again actually goes to the school, and there's interviews there. There's what happens because this situation has happened. It does happen. Unfortunately, it will happen again, and how it affects the school and the teachers, and it's dilemma after dilemma after dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ripple effect. It's the ripple effect that happens to the community. It's not just
a compound ripple effect.
Exactly that. And everyone's involved somehow. Like what you alluded to about the village raising a child. I think everyone's got a part.
Yeah.
In kind of this stuff happening and how it goes down, and we've all got a responsibility somewhat to look at ourselves and see what we can do to help.
And because of the subject matter, you can't be triumphant in the responding to the reviews that this show has got and the reaction that it's got. But it's such good telly. I mean, it's fantastically made. Episode 3. I mean, what happens there? Who is this kid that you found?
Owen Cooper. He's phenomenal. He's absolutely outstanding. What it was we saw our amazing. I have to give a massive shout out to our amazing casting director,
unbelievable.
Shaheen Beg's one of the best in the business.
Even
she's amazing.
The kids who play the extras in the school, they're all amazing.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the kids were actually from that school. Do you know what I mean? That was the other way. The way we constructed it together, and what happened as well is, look, Owen was just unbelievable. He's a unique talent. But what we did, what doesn't normally happen within our industry, is we got it down to 5 young lads, and we did a workshop, and I did a workshop with them, me and Phil, our fantastic director, Phil Barantini. We did a workshop with them for a day, and each one of them were brilliant. And I said to Phil, look, normally you'd pick the one and you'd say thank you to the others, thank you, but it hasn't quite worked out. That's how it works, doesn't it? But I said, we can't do that. These are all brilliant. We're looking for other roles within the series. Why don't we just offer these kids them roles? Yeah. So even that, you know what I mean? And what we wanted as well, no disrespect, but Owen doesn't have a lot of experience at all. This is the first thing he's ever done.
It's amazing.
Which is unbelievable.
But his gear changes. His energy changes.
In episode 3, he's phenomenal. Him and Erin Doherty, who's unbelievable as well. She plays the child psychologist.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing I said to Jack, and this is why Jack's writing's just unbelievable. I said to Jack, look, in episode 3, I think I know what it is. I just want the kid and a child psychologist, and I want them to be on like the 4th or 5th meeting, because conventionally you'd meet them at the first time they meet each other on a conventional drama. Yeah. I said, and what I need you to do, Jack, is just go away and write me your version of a David Mamet play. And he went, okay.
But the positioning of the chairs, and when he breaks his sandwich out, and what effect that has on the energy in the room, and she's opposite him, and then she goes out to view some video of something that's just happened with the reluctant guy who hates his job and she loves her job, and he thinks she's got the hard job, and actually she thinks he's got the hard job because she loves her job and he doesn't love his job. So there's all that going on. That's in a 2-minute exchange. Then she goes back in and she knows where she can pick up from where she left off. It's
Thank you. Yeah.
Episode 4. Again, you don't know where it's going to go. You don't know whose story you're going to pick up here. And so there's a little boy. He's been arrested on suspicion of murder with pretty compelling evidence. There are no spoilers here because it's so fascinating anyway. And episode 4 is the backstory, or the current / backstory of his mum, his dad, and his sister.
Yeah, it's the aftermath that it the effect it has on them.
Yeah. The research for all this, I mean, it's such an important piece, isn't it? I mean, parents are gonna, like you say, they're gonna learn, they're gonna be reminded, they're gonna be triggered, they're gonna be called to. Is it a call to action? Do you think?
We'd like to think so, wouldn't we? In certain ways,
it's just the heart. I've never seen like energy around a show like this. Like we've done many shows before, and the energy around it, I think, is solely because the heart of the piece. We're talking about our youth, we're talking about our society, we're talking about our future. From being a parent myself, there's no way I can turn away from this and not think do you know what I mean, differently about my children, or what their future is going to be. And I think that's kind of where the love for the show is coming from at the moment.
And it's all about love. You got, because you got to meet everything with love, haven't you?
Of course. And not to be pretentious, Chris, in any way, shape or form, do you know what I mean? Like, we're working class kids, you know what I mean? We're from normal backgrounds, but this was made with a lot of love. And I'd just like to acknowledge all of the crew, every single crew member, every single actor, in the respect of this, and I'm being completely honest, cast. Each person was integral to this story, and each person, because of the technique as well of how we film with the camera. Do you know what I mean? Matt Lewis are an amazing DOP.
Can we just pause that for a sec? Because people need to know about this. Because we could just be talking like arty-farty. It's one. No, but it's not. How would you describe what happens with the camera?
The things that happen with the camera is, look, it's attached. You begin with Ashley, as you said, and it's just handheld. The next minute, the lads are attaching it to a car that's electric, attached to a crane, and it goes off down the road. Then Matt takes it off, and Matt and Lee, our other camera operator who was on your film, who's fantastic, they pass the camera between them. So they're passing the baton each time because...
And trying to get the lines right.
And we're trying to get the lines right.
And trying to frame the right
Matt's taking the camera off Lee. Lee jumps in a car, drives to the next part of the location. Camera meets him, gets put on a drone, flies off, gets taken off a drone. It's crazy. But do you know the special thing about it was, by the time we start shooting, as actors, we don't see the camera anymore.
Yeah, we don't see it.
They disappear.
What was the furthest you got into a take? And you nearly nailed it, but somebody messed up or something happened.
Episode 2, we did like 14 takes.
Yeah, we did 14 takes. But no, was that episode 2?
Yeah. It was
but we added in a set. But we added in a second. Oh, episode 2. Yeah, we did 14 takes, and there was many reasons for that.
Right.
And one of the reasons was, and it was a genius idea. Do you know what I mean? Toby, who works at Netflix, decided, I think we need to see Eddie again at the site where she's been murdered. I think we need that reconnection. And he told us that on a Wednesday. Now, the drone flew off and went away and shot and kept going. But now the lads had to bring the drone down and take it off the drone machine and continue with the shot. This is whilst we're filming.
And if you haven't seen it, you think,
why isn't it? That's the last take.
Why are they banging on about the camera? You got to see it. And now his thing. I hope you don't mind me saying this. I don't think you will. I know some people who watched the first 20 minutes of the first ep and said, this is too much for me, which is understandable, isn't it? They're going to, hopefully they'll go back and revisit it, but it's so important to push through.
Yeah, it really is. Hannah said something the other day. She said, she hopes that it will be shown in schools as well. Do you know what I mean? That's something that we really hope.
So you got to stick with it. You got to get through it because it is absolutely fantastic telly. And I know you've got to be careful and you've got to be humble with the response you're getting. But park that if you can. You must be thrilled.
Just proud, proud, and feel very blessed and very full of gratitude that we're a part of something like this.
And it can only help for more people to get to see it, won't it?
I hope so. Yeah, and it was made with love.
Made with love, man. It's a group of people that. I've known Steve for years. It was so amazing to just be working with someone that you love and you respect anyway. And I think there was loads of that on set. And that helped the vibe and what we came up with. But to be a part of something so great is
so
amazing.
Special. It's so special. I mean...
And it's that, again, each single person is integral to the piece. Like you said, look, you picked up on that lovely little bit where she goes out the room and she has a conversation with the fella that's just let her into the gaff.
Yeah.
His role was integral.
Yeah.
Every single actor is integral, and the crew were phenomenal. It's the best crew I've ever worked with in my life.
Now you're getting
I'm dead proud of it, you know what I mean?
I know you had to be careful at the beginning, but I'm so pleased for you both. Well, I couldn't recommend it highly enough, but I don't have to because everybody else is doing it for me. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Stephen Graham, Ashley Walters, Adolescence is out now. It's been out since yesterday. I don't know how it's doing. I presume it's already number 1 on Netflix. We'll see, won't we? Stephen Graham, Ashley Walters, Erin Doherty. Is it Doherty or Doherty? Doherty, all right. We were talking about Pete Doherty the other day, weren't we? We couldn't remember. He'd been in it and told us.
Well, we had this conversation the other day. She says Doherty, but the Irish pronunciation is Doherty.
But it's her name.
Yeah. But she
I'm going to go with what she says.
No, but she even said it's not right.
All right, fair enough. Owen Cooper, Faye Marseille, Christine Tremarco, Mark Stanley, Joe Harley, Emily Pease, Austin Hayes, and Lil Chava, and many, many others.
Lil Chava's brilliant.
Many others, yeah.
And the wonderful Hannah Walters.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming
Thank you.
Just one more day and then you're free to leave, aren't you? Back into the wild. What do you do next? Anything you can tell us about? Anything you can't tell us? Is there anything you can't tell us about?
I'm unemployed at the moment.
Well, you won't be in about a minute.
I'm unemployed, yeah. We're both unemployed. Although he's just finished the Boss film.
Right.
I have, I just wrapped on a good movie. I've got a book coming out end of May.
Right.
Always Winning. So it's my first
Come back and see us for
biography.
That.
I will do, man.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
And Tilly, who works on the show, she's been hanging out with Robert De Niro.
Oh, nice.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Who
lovely,
you, of course, have worked with.
Yeah.
How was De Niro for you?
I can't. I've got no superlatives to describe.
What did you learn from him?
Humility.
Right.
Humility.
Yeah.
Grace.
Yeah.
And the fact that he has time for everyone on that set.
Does he actually?
Yeah.
Tilly said he was so nice. She was so. I mean, I can say it, can't I? You were frightened to death when you were going to do Robert De Niro because you know you can only mess it up, but he couldn't have been nicer to her.
No, he's wonderful.
What did you learn from him, acting wise?
To be in the moment.
To be in the moment.
To be present.
Well, you're very good at that, mate.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you.
Cheers.
You're amazing. All right. Thanks a lot. Brilliant. Adolescence
Lovely.
on Netflix now, and it'll be there forever, and it will be watched forever, hopefully by everyone, because there are so many lessons to learn. And I love what Stephen said. Nobody's pointing the finger at anyone. It's just, look, what about this? What about this? What should you do about this? Should we all get our heads together and make the world better?